Black, and I'm black, y'all.
What's up, Three Black Guys with the Mic fam? This episode is powered by BWP Marketing and Hype Voice Creative. If you want to support the show, we would really appreciate that. Head over to our YouTube channel and click the subscribe button. Also, head over to soundcloud.com/Three Black Guys with the Mic and subscribe to our SoundCloud channel. And don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast. And if you want to support us financially, it's all good. Drop something in our Cash App at Three Black Guys Mic. And now, let's start the show.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of
Sometimes my mama said, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one, okay? Lamont, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo. So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy. And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
But take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Three Black Guys with a Mic. I ain't even got into it yet. Welcome to Three Black Guys with a Mic, the podcast where politics meet pop culture and hip-hop debate style. I'm your host, Spud, along with my man from Wakanda, Lamont G. Hayes. Man at Scales. Tonight we got a lot to talk about, man. Lots to talk about. We got to talk about where do we go from here on the protesting, the marching, all the people out there doing the Cupid shuffle. Where do we go from here? What do we do next?
Yo, where is Lamont going? It looks as if he's disappearing into it.
I hate these backgrounds, but I thought that this would be so appropriate since we done turned black. We done turn, unfortunately, the passing of these brothers and sisters into Christmas. We done turned this into a social holiday where we're kente clothing, where this is starting to become a show. So I figure, you know what? Let me put on a show too. Let's get a kente cloth and do the Wakanda like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and let's all bend the knee. Can we do that?
I mean, the crazy thing about it is that, it really is amazing to me. And this is no diss or no hate to any of, the people who are supporting Black lives or anything of that nature. But now it seems like it's becoming a little bit of a marketing scheme. And Christmas. It seems as if, now a lot of people are on the team that they're not on the team. I mean, Lamont is a huge fan of PornHub, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. And PornHub, ladies and gentlemen, is doing an all ebony week. When you got PornHub doing an all ebony week, know things are serious out here.
So made it a spud. That's my question. What do you think if we could resurrect Martin or Malcolm or Marcus Garvey or let's just do it with those three. And we had the opportunity to sit them down and say, listen, this is where we are in 2020 with where you guys left us when you departed this earth. And Pornhub is now going to do, what is it again, Spud? I saw the blurb. Is it like
all ebony week.
All ebony.
Black on black pornography is what they're doing.
Right. So now we're discriminating against the people who want to see other pornography other than black. I mean, this is a clown show, bro. Like, part of it is a clown show.
They're not discriminating against other porn. Other porn gets its shine. All 364 other, whatever.
Black History Month.
51 weeks out of the year.
It's Black History Month with them.
So let me ask you a question.
A lot of people.
Has Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer ever wore a kente cloth? And no disrespect to the congressperson from South Carolina, because I know my uncle who lives in Charleston has a personal relationship with him, but dude is a clown. There's no way that he should have allowed them to put that on there like that.
I mean, I think it's one, it's one thing where you're supporting black people and black lives. It's another thing when you are buffooning.
Right. You're making a mockery of the kente cloth.
A lot of this stuff is, it's starting to, everywhere. It's amazing to me how February, Black History Month, all of these corporations, all of these politicians, well, nobody's screaming no Black Lives Matter. Wasn't nobody talking about, you know what I'm saying, we're going to put $100 million into injustice or, you know, social reform or, you know, into these particular type of neighborhoods. Now, all of a sudden, and I mean, listen, I'm not, you know, mad at what is happening. If this is the type of, you know, attention that African Americans need to get in order for us to be able to get, hopefully, some justice around here, then hopefully this will open up the dialogue for us to be able to have more conversations about what Black Lives Matter really mean. Not because you decide that you want to say, oh, Black Lives Matter, you know, are you going to start hiring more Black people? Are you going to start putting more Black people on your board? Are you going to start putting more Black people, you know, in executive positions? Are you going to start hiring more Black people? Are you going to stop discriminating against Black people? Do we have to keep, you know, are we going to remove affirmative action? Are we going to have to start to do the things? Are you going to start to put the systems in place in order for the Black lives to really matter? Rather than us being able to have a nice long billboard right in front of the White House and everybody walk over it, and then in 3 months from now, it gets erased or it ain't there no more. So this is, you know, we got to be very careful about who is. You got to keep your friends closer and your enemies closer.
They definitely did too much, especially when I was looking at Chuck Schumer, because Chuck Schumer would not be cool with the entire Congressional Black Caucus showing up one day with yarmulkes on. You know what I'm saying? It would not be a good. They would you know, the Jewish community would probably have some agita in reference to the entire CBC.
They'll be saying, you guys are anti-Semitic.
They would say that we would be mocking them or
right.
picking, you know. Or, you know what? Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they would accept it. Maybe they would. Who knows?
You mean to tell me if us three Black Negroes decided to walk up into a shout out to man, I was gonna say, into a Jewish funeral with what do they call the yarmulkes? Is that what it's called? With those on, that people would not be offended?
I'm not gonna laugh at that, Maynard. I got good neighbors, I got good homeboys, and I always tell the story of one Saturday I saw my neighbor walking, and I'm like, yo, my neighbor got nice cars. Like, yo, my guy, what you walking? And I didn't know they had to walk to Temple. You feel what I'm saying? They don't what they do on Saturday. And what I say that to say is, like, you know, there's a lot that we don't really know about their culture, like they don't know a lot about ours. And there's a lot of cool Jewish people that's out here in these streets. It's something that might not be as cool as others, but it's some cool ones out here.
No, I'm not saying that they're cool or not. I don't think that they would appreciate the fact that we will be coming to one of their synagogues, or we will be trying to, you know, show our support by mocking their attire or apparel.
And you know what's funny? Because some of them synagogues, they got them boys out there with the Uzis up under their jackets, so we probably wouldn't even be able to get in.
No, you can go.
Because they don't play that.
I've been to synagogues on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And I would say this. I've been to synagogues more than once, and in fact, been invited to place the yarmulke on as respect for the synagogue, for the temple. So, I mean, but it doesn't. But the kente cloth, right? It just don't feel right. It just don't feel. First of all, I don't have a kente cloth outfit myself, so they all of a sudden went out and just.
Roland Martin, he got a couple of them for you.
Right, a little kente cloth ascot jump off.
Listen, Michael Jordan is donating $100 million to social injustice. I know that you have a problem with Michael Jordan, Lamont. I just wanted to see if this was going to be something that you would say, oh, you know what? Cool. Mike is not such trash after all.
Well, in retrospect to my kente cloth, Michael Jordan is still a sucker. For somebody who's made $1 billion, he's pledging $100 million. That don't mean that he's writing a check. And I still want to know where you're writing the check to, my guy. Like, we can sit here and say we're all going to pledge $50,000 apiece on behalf of three black guys with a mic, but that don't mean that we're going to do it. That don't mean we write a check. We just gave a pledge.
Wait a minute. Let's just be clear. We haven't discussed how I'm spending my share of the three black guys. I'm not, in fact, giving $50,000 of my share.
No.
No.
But once
we
again,
all know
if you listen, I said
organizations,
no, I
nonprofit
said we're
organizations.
pledging.
No, I'm not even pledging 50,000. I'm just saying I don't even play like that. I'm just trying to let you know straight up. We had a discussion this past weekend about people going out and saying stuff that we gonna do that not everybody cleared off on, and that's one of them ones that I'm just like, hey, look, I got $50. The Urban League gonna get this $50, and I'm gonna make some sandwiches for the NAACP and send that.
So Spud, and not to pivot because I want to stay on Mike, but just like Maynard just said, and watching Candace Owens put up a post, and in 2 hours she raised $180,000 just for some, I forgot what it was, some restaurant. Somebody said something, whatever. And Candace was like, "No, we ain't going out like that. Put your money up." 180 bands. Is that why we losing? Maynard and Spud? Because I don't know if the Urban League could put up a post and in 2 hours come up with 180 bands.
Sure.
And I don't know if Michael Jordan is really putting that money where his mouth is.
Sure, the Urban League is raising that kind of money. That's easy. For the $180,000 is nothing for the Urban League. It's nothing. They do a lot more than $180,000.
I don't know about in a couple of minutes.
I mean, the kind of money that they're getting is not a couple of minutes worth of money. They're gonna get, they're gonna probably mess around out of this and find out how they can put up, bring in $10 million. It's gonna happen over 3 weeks or something like that. It ain't gonna be a couple of minutes, but it ain't gonna be, they're not.
So that's still contradictory to what you said. If Candace Owens in 2 hours can get that kind of bread, what would she do if it took her a minute? What kind of money would she be raising?
$180,000.
And that's out of that team.
180. I mean, because she'll ultimately have a ceiling. She's going to cap. She ain't going to hit endless supplies of people prepared to give her money. They like supporting her because she's black and she says a lot of the things that they want to hear. But at some point, they're gonna be like, okay, look here, little black girl. We gave you enough, little black girl. Okay, but
so let's go back to Michael. And again, it's a pledge, but until I see the return receipt on the check or the deposit or the bank wire, he just offering lip service. He's getting clicks and views. And that what we talk about on this podcast all the time?
We all know that nonprofits are one of the biggest way for you to get your money back really quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to put me up. I'm going to put the Get With Spud Fund over here.
Right.
All this money on now I'm the chair of the Get With Spud Fund and I got to get a salary. So
right.
We all know. And not to, discredit Mike. Good for him and everybody else that's raising, money and giving money to, social injustice. I think that this is, a good thing. I am a little, skeptical about where the money is going and when the money is going to get and who's going to get the money and how that money is going to actually start to trickle out into the community. Because we know after the, riots in LA, everybody was saying that, oh, yeah, we're going to start putting money into, urban communities and the urban communities never saw that money in LA ever. So, sometimes this money, we say we're going to do something and it doesn't really happen. Here's my question, though. Where do we go from here?
So, wait. I'm sorry. Is it okay if I retire the kente cloth?
Yes.
It's burning my eyes.
Yes. No. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Much. Yes. Yes. You can get rid of the kente cloth.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Right. There we go.
We know you black.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. That was the wrong fist.
Anyway.
So where do we go from here? That's what we got to discuss. Oprah's doing her thing, her 2-night event tomorrow, about where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? We got a lot of marching, we got a lot. Is this a movement or is this going to be just a moment?
I'd say, unfortunately, it's a moment. It's going to be an extended moment, right? But, at some point, we're going to wind up back where we were. And I'm 49 this year. When I'm 59, we're gonna be watching some cell phone video of some black man being murdered by a cop who's
we might have chips in our body by then.
And right, when I'm 69, we're gonna see it again. When I'm 79, God willing, I'm around. We'll see it again. And
right there, why is it just continuously a moment. We can go all the way back from, slavery, Emmett Till. I mean, we can go back to lynchings. We could go back to, Jim Crow. Why is this a continuous moment and not a movement?
I feel like this. If you are prepared to accept the plateauing of our rights, meaning like, oh, you get somewhere and then people will tell you, look, you got this far, but change doesn't happen overnight. It's just accept this and be okay with it. And we do that. We always do that. Like, okay, we don't want to be slaves. Y'all going, the war. Okay, look, y'all ain't slaves no more, but we ain't gonna let you vote. Okay, then we're gonna let you vote, but you got to pay a tax to vote. We gonna let you vote. You got to pay a tax, but now you don't have to pay a tax, but now you got to take a test to vote. Okay, we gonna let you vote. You don't have to pay a tax. You don't have to pay a tax or pass a test. But we get to lynch you whenever we choose. We're going to get...
So basically that until our time is over, that we're always going to be living in some sort of bondage, some sort of slavery, systemic racism is always going to happen in our life.
I'll tell you something that I spoke with a gentleman. I spoke with a Jewish gentleman. And I asked him, like, what is it that has, given Jewish people such strength with such small numbers? It's only like 17 million Jewish people in the whole world. That's it. It's not a big number. There's 30 some million black people in America. More than that, maybe 40 million. I think there might be 16 million black people in Detroit. Who knows? I don't know. But one of the things he said is we never accepted the religion of our oppressors.
So this has something to do with white Jesus. So as long as we are bowing down to white Jesus, we are always going to be in this scenario. That's basically what you're saying. You're saying
whoa. I spoke to the man. That man said when they tried to conquer us, and they tried to subjugate us to the rule of Hitler, we were like, okay, we gonna go through this. And if they were given an opportunity, he basically was saying, is if we were given an opportunity to live and while living denounce Judaism, we would have chose death. That's what he told me.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get this right. So when you're 69 and you are looking at the television and somebody has died to the arms of police, and now they start marching and rioting and looting and burning up and going in the Gucci store and so forth and so on, you're going to be sitting back and you're going to say, 30 years ago, I was on a podcast with two of my friends and I said that this same thing is going to occur, and that is because black people are basically, or have accepted Jesus.
Now that you put it that way.
I'm just asking, is that what you're saying?
Now that you put it that way, I mean,
Oh, okay. So this has something to do with Sky Daddy.
I mean.
So, man, let me just say this. I'm in 100% disagreement with that philosophy. And I get it. I've learned that everybody has philosophies. I think at the end of the day, man, we have all said it on this podcast for now years. And I don't think, unfortunately, the passing of George Floyd or any of the other countless names that we can is going to change the fact that they're trying to kill us. And they will continuously try to kill us. And I don't think that it's always killing us is not about physically killing us. Sometimes it's about, without us in this country, I really don't believe that the country wouldn't operate, or it would operate a little bit differently. There was always this running joke, like, what if the aliens came down and took every black person off the planet? and we went to another planet. That the planet probably be in a real bad place. So I think us as a people in this country, we have a purpose. But as you said before from Dr. Claude Anderson, this is not our show. No matter how many marches, no matter how much burning, no matter how much kneeling, no matter how much kente cloth, and I don't want to steal the thunder, from, me being in my feelings, but like the eloquent young lady said, I don't own that Target, so I don't really care if it burns down or not. And she's right. That Target does not belong to that community. That Target is there to make money from that community. Yeah. And that's just the reality of what it really is. I'm not saying that burning is right or wrong, but what I am saying is I get the marching. I do get the expression. I do think that there has been movement. As we all just probably saw not too long ago, there was a time a policeman that would never got arrested for that and had a $1.2.5 million bail because he did get bail. You feel what I'm saying? There was a time in this country that didn't happen at all. So some would say that there have been some sort of progress in terms of what it is that we're trying to do. But once you get down to the dirty root of it all, especially when it comes to police, and we have to also understand people who have or the sub-organization inside of police, not all police, but we already know what kind of boys is the police. That's their fraternity. You feel what I'm saying? Of those that really want to kill us. And
so many said that they wanted to defund the police. I mean, the police department, basically. Is that something you think that would work?
I think you have to be very careful and have an understanding of what that really means. And I know Maynard, he's itching, so I'm not going to take it all. I was watching Fox News, and the way they positioned it is that they were saying that, they want to take all of the money away from the police, and that's not really what they're saying. When you use the term defunding the police, that's kind of a little bit misleading. I think it's, from what I understand of what some of the discussion is taking a portion of what's in the police budget and put it towards other initiatives in the community, like mental health.
Like they said they were going to do in L.A., and they never did.
Absolutely, because of course it's all a scam on what it all is. But when we say defunding the police, it's not saying that all the police just go home. Even with the Minnesota thing, where they're disbanding the police department. No, they're not. And then you also got to understand there's a county and there's a state police that's written right there in the wings. You feel what I'm saying? So the whole notion that there's going to be no police force and people just going to run amok, and like my man on Fox said, it's going to be going around just raping people. Come on, guy. That's total disingenuous. That's not what that means. So Maynard, go ahead and tell me if I am or where I'm wrong.
I'm not 100% sure, but I can say I'm gonna put my vote for keeping police. I'm gonna put my vote. Keep some police somewhere. I like the things I have, and I don't want anyone to come get them. Thank you, and I've said my piece. I yield back my time.
So yielding back your time. So here's what I hear you guys saying. The marching is cool. That's a lot of attention. It's great. It's noble. Fantastic. Love what you're doing. But this is not going to change anything. We are not going to
look. I think there's going to be some really interesting change for a period of time. I think there's going to be a lot of energy towards a lot of things, but it's a lot like anything you do in this world, right? You want to, you start off in January. I'm gonna eat healthy. I'm gonna work out more. I'm gonna spend more time reading books. And you get to February, you're like, well, I'm slowing down a little bit on that because I got some things I'm a little bit busy. Then by March, man, you eating ice cream, laying in bed and watching, Netflix. So, I mean, Lamont, you don't eat ice cream and watch Netflix in bed?
Well, first of all, we don't eat in the bed in this house. We have a kitchen for that and a dining area, A. Okay. And B, if you really want to know what goes on in my bedroom, when I get in the bed, I go to sleep.
Pause, homie. Pause.
By the time I hit the pillow, like 36 seconds later, I'm out.
I got to have respect for the program. I can't see that.
What we are saying is that we're going to be here again sooner than later.
Oh yeah, yes. Absolutely. We're going to be. Look, a lot more movement has occurred this go round than previous. So much of it, unfortunately, is the moment. And as the moment begins to wear off, versus the movement. We're going to see the fatigue of the moment. You know, it's hard to be out there for,
I don't know, 14 days straight. 14 days straight on a protest around the world is pretty substantial. That's pretty significant.
Oof.
So can I ask a question?
Day 15.
So can I ask a question?
Day 16.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I think the last number I saw was 14 million. They had a $14 million GoFundMe campaign to the Floyd family. And with all due respect, no, that man lost I don't know about his, I don't remember hearing about it, a son, a father, an uncle, a brother. And I don't give a shit if it was 100 million. It's not worth that man's life. But here's my question. What happens with that 14 million? How does that work? I'm hearing things about Kanye put up another 2 million for the daughter of George Floyd to go to college, what I think is noble, but I got questions about that. I heard some other little rumblings. There's some behind the scenes. It's like them brothers and sisters of that family, although, and I'll say again, they do not have that son, that brother, that father, that uncle. He's passed on. What do you do with that money? How does that work, Maynard and Spud?
Why does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
I'm just curious.
It don't matter.
I mean,
Look.
matter?
If they sued this city of Minneapolis and they won $10 million for the sake of argument, that's their money. They do. They want to go.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking. So it goes to the family?
I don't know. It don't go to us, so I'm good with it. It's their business. I'm just saying, if they want to run up into Somerset Mall and you know, that's their business.
Is that what you're afraid of? That they're gonna
Malls
Pork Government?
No. I'm not going there in terms of that, but a lot of what I see, definitely, like I said earlier, with these companies, it's just so much money being thrown around that it seems like people are more concerned with throwing the money around and it makes it all better instead of really getting to the root of it all, which really, Spud, brings it all back around to where I was trying to go.
Right.
It's like,
that's the purpose of why we're going to be here again.
right, because GoFundMe said that they've never, ever got cheese like that on one campaign ever.
Yeah.
Right? I have never seen Sony.
What's the GoFundMe percentage when they hit the cash out button?
Oh, you're talking about, I don't know, got to be at least 2-3%, at least.
A low end on 14
You feel
million.
what I'm saying? And the scary part is, and Maynard's the finance guy, that money probably sit in the bank earning a little bit of interest as we speak. So they might not be able to get that check for 30 or 90 days. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, they might put it in the Allison Iverson Trust.
Yeah. Well, and again, hopefully that would be the case.
Allison Iverson.
Where you might not be able to get it till you're 55 years old.
Right. And I know that's not the only check that's probably been thrown at those people. So I kind of feel, and I hate to say, like, when I feel like this has become a circus a little bit, is because, again, everybody's throwing cheese at it. They're throwing the logo at it. They're making it seem like,
yeah, it's like, you know, oh yeah, you know what, baby? I've been beating you all in our entire relationship. Here go a ring.
right.
Oh, I know I slapped you last night, but here go a fur coat. No, stop the beating. That's what this whole thing is about.
But that's
it happened for a minute. You all good, and then another, you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a month later, you back at it again.
Right.
You get mad. Then he slap you up again. Oh, baby, here go a brand new car. Mm-hmm. Then when you decide to leave, and then it's kind of like, all hell done broke loose now, because now you want to leave and you want to get away and you want to do your own thing, and now this is an issue. So I suggest everybody read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, and I appreciate everyone what they're doing, regardless if it is you giving $1, you giving $100 million, if you giving $100 or whatever, if you got out there and you protested and you got out there and you did your thing. But I think that now is the time for you to, all of us, not just you, I mean, all of us to start to, you know, circle those dollars back into the things that we want. Going back into, you know, Lamont's point about Jewish people. If you've never read the book, The Jewish Phenomenon, that is a must read. A must read. Because Jewish people basically say, what we do is we take our money and we give it right back to our people. Oh, education, that is not even a conversation in this household. In a Jewish household, it is you going to school, period. You're going to get your education. And that's not for everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's Jewish, but that is the mindset of the people. And I'm not, comparing or anything of that nature, but we have to circle our dollars on the things that we want. We got to stop getting our money and running out to Somerset or running out to Target and saying, hey, here go $400.
Can I get some Dayton's though? Can
I get some Dayton's though? Can I get some
Do they
fries?
still have Dayton's? They still make those?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, let's move on. So, Lamont Republic Records said that they are banning the word urban from music or from their record label, and they're only basically calling it hip hop and R&B. Why would they be banning the word urban? I don't even know why the whole urban thing. Like, where did that even come from? How did that all of a sudden describe black folks?
Well, and again, this is just from my understanding. First of all, music has always been categorized. That's just what it is. Just like whether it's rock music or country music, there's always been some sort of category. During my generation, or from what I understand of black music, that was part of the metamorphosis of it used to be called race music at one time. One time it was called rhythm and blues. One time it was blues. So it's kind of going through this metamorphosis over time on the different variations. And again, it used to be about it being called black music because, again, that's just what it was. And then, black was kind of, you had a lot of records that were kind of put in that space where people weren't black or that felt like that was too strong. So they had to put a little Clorox bleach on it and they came up with urban. And then on the quiet over the past couple of years, this is what makes it really funny to me, how we wait till Black Music Month, which is this month, which is the 1 month out of the year where we celebrate, black music. And actually, I posted something about this. It's actually started in the 70s, where it was kind of decided that we wanted to use this month to highlight all of the behind the scenes of the great history of black music. And then all of a sudden, Universal Republic comes out with this like, well, we want to be inclusive to everybody. The whole sham that is always, done when it comes to our stuff, because we never hear these conversations about, we don't know if, with the Rolling Stones and rock, if that's inclusive, because we've had a lot of black and rock and roll people in music. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Right. But we never mess around with the rock and roll word. Yeah. God forbid. Right. We've had a few brown people that did really big in country music. Right. Charlie Pride. I just remember Charlie because I like dude. Right. He hot. And it's like we don't touch that. You know what I mean? There's never been a metamorphosis of the word country music, but when it comes to the good old black people stuff, we got to be more inclusive. We gotta,
that's
we
not true.
don't want to. It's always an issue. And what a lot of people think, including me, it's the whitewashing of our genre of music that in all reality pays a lot of bills for this music industry as a whole. You feel what I'm saying? And that's just my take on it. I think it's bullshit.
There's been a lot of wobbling on the word country. Let's start with that for a second. That I just want to set that much straight, because there's country, so the music industry and the radio industry work hand in hand, right? And anyone who's my years at Arbitron, for instance, we understood that there was country, there was classic country, there was new country, there's country and western. There's western, which is not classic country or country and western, and so on all these little things, right? And then there's this country pop, or this pop country thing that's kind of like new country, but to speak to your point about how we've done urban music and which was hip hop to us, or R&B, or all this amalgamation or conglomeration of different genres all rolled up into one. I think so much of it came from the idea that hip hop radio stations or R&B radio stations obviously prospered in urban markets, right? Like, you're going to have a hard time playing hip hop 15 years ago, 20 years ago, in the middle of Des Moines somewhere. And so urban cities performed well with this genre. Now, is it a bad thing or is it a good thing? I don't know. I just know that.
You said all that to say you didn't know.
Right.
I mean, is it bad or is it good? I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't even matter. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're doing away with the word urban, you know.
Which again, is synonymous with black.
Right.
During the time that we're marching up and down the street saying that Black Lives Matter. So if Black Lives Matter, Amazon, then we should have a little black music to go with our Black lives. Is that not right?
I mean, I don't know about all that, but I mean, yeah.
I had to reach for that. That was a long.
It was a little bit, but I mean, they're replacing it with hip hop and R&B.
Is there a white music genre? Is there a genre called white music?
No, there's not.
Is there a genre called suburban music?
No, there's not.
But there is a genre called country, which is kind of the opposite of urban, right? I mean, you got urban,
and that's what Republic is saying.
And rural and country.
They're taking away the word urban and replacing it with hip hop and R&B, which basically, you know what I'm saying, goes to, you know what I'm saying, Lamont's point, which basically says that now Justin Timberlake and Justin Bieber can get more records on black radio stations because they can categorize him as an urban artist.
And also, Maynard, as you know this, now this is another way for them to say, and Spud, you're very familiar with this, is the urban station that played the same music as the station with a little bleach on it, right? The rhythmic top 40 played the same records.
That's what we call
churban.
Churban.
They could charge more money than the urban station, right? Because the urban station was a little dirty. It was black, had a little speck on it. Was that not correct in the sales arena?
I mean, that's not changing. That's been.
No. I didn't ask you if it was changing. Answer the question. If you had two stations, right, played the same music, one was an urban station classified, one was a rhythmic or top 40 station classified.
Churban.
Who would make more money in terms of what they can charge?
That's all. Yes, that has always been. That's
not what I asked you. Which one of the stations would it be? Answer the question.
Which one of the stations what?
Would be able to charge more if they both played the same music?
The Churban station.
Okay, the white station.
That's always been.
Okay, right. So it's the labeling. It's the bleaching of what we call urban, which was a metamorphosis of black music. It's just another way of.
I don't know if that's changing, though. I don't know if that's changing.
That part is no. That part, what you're talking about, radio, that's going to be what it's going to be. I'm telling you, that's part of why it's a part of the erasing. As somebody I saw, I think it was Ron Sweeney, attorney, masterful guy. He broke. No, Robert Jiggins. It don't depend on the salesperson. That's overall. So we're not gonna play that game. Okay. Is that as black music departments over the past 15 to 20 years just have shrunk. The level of the black or the urban executive, it's what it is. It's almost very non-existent on the record side. What you all do on the radio, that's what you do. So I'm saying, like, this is again where this is all a game, and some of us see the game. They see the long-term game, not just what they're doing right now. So it's bullshit. And This is what it is.
All right, can we see why Lamont is in his feelings this week, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see why Lamont is in his feelings.
How much time you got?
I got a lot of time.
I want to make sure.
Your feelings, Lamont.
Hold on. Wait a minute. We got to give Lamont his proper.
You stay on the draw, dog. You focus on the show.
I'm focused on the show, but he's jumped in with how much time we got. Do we want, look.
Go, Lamont. He didn't mess up the moment.
Feelings. Lamont is in his feelings.
Okay, Lamont, why are you in your feelings now?
Okay, I want to make sure I got this right. That's why I'm reading. Her name is Kimberly Latrice Jones. This is a young lady who's from Atlanta, Georgia. She's actually a mother. She's an author. She's been nominated for NAACP Image Awards. And I don't know if you all saw this, but if you don't follow us on Instagram, you should go to our Instagram page at 3 Black Guys with a Mic. But we posted a video this morning of her rant that you probably saw about Minnesota. And I'm just in my feelings about when she made the reference of historically where we are today, our experience and understanding of what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921 that we've talked about on this podcast, what happened in Rosewood, Florida, what we all talked about in this podcast. And she gave this eloquent speech about how for almost 400 years we have played the game of Monopoly and we were not allowed to make any money, not allowed to buy any property. And we were really brought here to this particular place called America for basically our labor and how we built up the North and the South with our labor for over 400 years. And at the end of her rant, she said, that's why she didn't really give a damn about Target burning because it ain't ours. And I've been struggling with this. I've been in my feelings. But yo, dog, I think she's right. I think she's right about having to acknowledge, and where we have everybody donating money and wearing kente cloth and doing all of these other, what I like to call semi-foolishness, with the passing of all of our brothers and sisters and saying that they're going to help and all of the politicizing of all of this foolishness, this still ain't ours. And I think if anything else, I'm in my feelings more about we got to figure out how we get ours. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you don't know about Letitia, again, go to our Instagram page, 3 Black Guys with a Mic, and check out the little video clip. She's on point.
So the question is how do we get ours? I mean, this goes back to, you know what I'm saying, what I was saying in the beginning. It's like, you know, what is the plan to get ours? I mean, we have to start to focus on what is ours? I mean,
well, let me just say this.
If it isn't ours.
No, but let me say this.
Have, you know what I'm saying, a lot to say about that. But if it isn't ours, then whose is it?
It's not ours. We don't own Target. When I say us collectively as an African American community, we don't. Well, that's not ours.
Let me add to that though, and I think not in a contradictory fashion, but to support that, I think a lot of times what we have to, like my grandmother's block on the east side, 9th and Pine, it's desperation in that community, right? My grandmother passed some years ago, so we don't even own the house any longer. But it's desperation in that community. But we owned that house. My grandparents owned that house until they both passed on and we sold the property. But when you look at the number of properties, as we were giving thought to selling the property, we looked at that block, and you could do this with Zillow or the county pages, or what, you know, the county keeps a record. The recorder of deeds showed us the number of properties where the tax records were being mailed to another address, meaning that someone else owned the house. And when people say, well, you know, you tearing up your own block, that same desperation about not owning a Target or the Chinese food restaurant on the corner translates to those people who live on that block who don't actually, they're renting. And the downside of not the idea that they don't own the house, but would they send their rent to someone and that someone is not servicing them. They're living in a house where there are mice and there are roaches and the plumbing doesn't work all the time, or it's you know, there's a hole in the roof, or it's in disrepair, or what have you. And there is hopelessness on that block, right? And as a result, these people say, well, the owner of this house ain't doing shit for me anyway. Not only do I not own it, or don't own this block, or don't own a part of it, if I don't own anything and I don't care about it, then I have nothing to lose. So the idea of burning down something, I mean, it's of no consequence to people in their mind mentally, because they have not had ownership. And, you know, that is, that's the unfortunate thing. Now, how do we change that? Does it mean that we should buy it in that neighborhood? Some people may have to buy in that neighborhood. It's not the greatest neighborhood to own a home in, but, you know, that's where some people may have to start. But we have got to, if we can't own something, we have to be able to hold people accountable who we do rent from. And if we can make our communities better, whether we own or rent, then we can have more pride in where we live.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with somebody and they were saying, you know, I don't understand why they're burning down their community, you know what I'm saying, you know, messing up people's property and so forth and so on. And my comment was like, well, you don't really care if the person lives in the suburbs and then they come to the city and they decide to open up a business and they only do business there, and you go and you support that business, that party store, that gas station, or, you know, that clothing store, whatever, that person gets all of your money and takes it back to their community. You know, they don't live in the city, they living in the suburbs, and they driving a nice car, and, you know, so forth and so on. So there is no investment within the city. It is just literally, I put up an opportunity, goods basically, for you to be able to come and purchase from me, for me to be able to take back to my community and to be able to support my community and send my kids to private school. Right. That's basically what it is.
Right.
So let me ask you this. And Maynard, you help me and tell me if I'm looking at this wrong. Spud gonna tell me I'm looking at it wrong. So if you take Luxor Liquor Store, 6 Mile and Griggs, you know that liquor store, Maynard?
6 Mile and Griggs?
Not Griggs, maybe Eileen, somewhere around there. I think I'm gonna go with Griggs. It's a real big liquor store right there on 6 Mile, right? Busy street, all kind of cars. And I'm saying to myself, how did this liquor store come to be? How did the owner of this liquor store come to having the financial resources to acquire the liquor license, acquire the inventory, acquire, whether it's buying the building, I don't know, or leasing or renting, building it out, doing all of those things for that liquor store, and you see all of the family that works in the liquor store, the cousin, the brother.
You want to know how?
Wait, let me finish, because I got to be disrespectful a little bit. But you never see the woman of that family in the liquor store. It's always the black woman behind the lottery machine, which I never understood that part. Right?
You know how? I'll tell you how. The same reason why they put a gun store.
So how did that come to? How did Luxor Liquor and that story all over to the Detroit and probably all over the nation? How did that happen?
Well, so think about this. Now, you know, wanting to be a restaurateur at one point in my past and failing at it, but whichever, I understood one thing when I wanted to get this restaurant. I had to go down to city council and I had to, in the planning committee, and say, I want to put a restaurant here and serve liquor. They said, okay, great. You got to put a sign up. We have to approve that you can sell liquor here. We got to do all those things. And I went through these processes. Okay, that's just the process. But here's the part. At every turn, somebody showed up at the planning meeting or the council meeting or the zoning meeting and said, we don't think a liquor store, we don't think a restaurant that serves liquor should be on this block. We don't think that a place that has the restaurant that serves liquor should be able to be open past 10 o'clock at night. Or we don't think that they should be able to have live music, or they shouldn't have this many seats. Those people were invested in their community. And if we do not say, wait a minute, we need to go to the council and go to the zoning committee and go to the planning committee and voice our opinion and go to the ABC board and all those things, they're just going to ramrod that. Because why? Because the people who are going to open up that liquor store or open up that restaurant that sells liquor, they're going to pay taxes, maybe some bribes. They're going to pay that money, and that's all that really counts a lot of times to the city, particularly cities that are cash strapped. So as long as checks are getting written, a lot of the stuff gets greenlit, particularly when the people who live in these neighborhoods are poor and small and black and don't know any difference and don't know where their next anything may be coming from.
And have been conditioned. So, I know what they like. Flaming hot Cheetos, pizza, hot dogs, liquor, lottery.
Chicken wings.
What else? Verner's. What's the other one? Faygo Pop, Old Town Soda.
That's all Detroit stuff, y'all. A lot of wait. A lot of my East Coast folks don't know nothing about Verner's, Faygo, or Old Town.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a Detroit thing. But Tahitian treats right there. And the whole 9 yards. A bunch of sugary drinks.
Shout out to Verner's, though.
What Verner's it is that they, that's what they want. That's what we got. We're also going to put a couple of T-shirts back here. We're going to put a couple of watches in here. We're going to put some cell phones. We're going to put, a little restaurant with more chicken wings and more, pizza and all of that other stuff. This is what they want. So this is what, we have the capital to be able to do it. And not only that, think about, when the city, I'm just going to go speak up for the city of Detroit, but this is just Brooklyn, Harlem. I mean, we could go on and on and on with gentrification. Think about, the times when the city of Detroit couldn't get nobody to buy property in the city of Detroit. And nobody was telling us to be able to buy, property in the city of Detroit for $10, $100, $500, $3,000, buy this building for $50,000 or anything like that. It was a bunch of people from either out of the country or a bunch of good old boy networks that basically said, yo, come and buy these buildings, buy all these buildings. Now you look at Detroit now. You're like, holy crap. Where was this when I was? Nobody told me that, you could buy a building for $20,000 and flip it for, $20,000 and basically, charge rent for $20,000. But
the scary part, Spud, is for some of those buildings, like you just said, that were bought, there were actually people in Detroit that could have paid for that cash.
With cash.
And that's the reason why you had, I think if I want to make sure I said this correctly, like they had the land bank where if you wasn't in the loop, they had all of those parcels. Nah, they're going to have to go to Dan because they actually know, and we can't say it on this podcast because we don't want to get, wiretapped or whatever. But there's some people, again, that we all know could have went out there with a big old few hefty bags. They put on the table, said, I'm going to buy all of this.
You didn't even, right. Or either you didn't even need a couple of hefty bags. If we, as a community, we could have basically said, look, we all going down there. We going down to the city board building, or Maynard just said, you're going to buy this block, you're going to buy this building, you're going to buy this building, you're going to put this here, you're going to put this here, you're going to put this here. And we're going to create a community, or either we're going to have some wealth invested into it.
Well, yeah, but here's my question, and after this, I'm done. When we did that in 1921, what did they do?
Oh, well, we were too powerful then. They burnt it down.
So one other thing to mention, though, because it sounds simple. And, before I left Detroit, I looked into buying something over on State Fair. It was cheap. It was an income-producing property for $14,000, right? It already had renters in it and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, we'll pick this up and we'll pick up something else and something else and something else. And we were looking around. The challenge, unfortunately, for the city of Detroit, and that was Detroit, and I'm not blaming it on nobody but Detroit, was the 2 or 3 other properties I was interested in buying that were near State Fair. There were no services, meaning like, oh, well, you could buy this house, but we've long since shut off sewer service to that area. So you got to invest in the sewer line, and the city was not prepared to do that. Oh, well, there's no telephone poles over on that block any longer. And all of that came from the disinvestment, if such a word exists, in the community for years, right? So as, for instance, high-speed internet was coming on, nobody was going to those blocks and saying, we're going to put high-speed internet on this, and, whatever's here is fine, but we're not going to put high-speed internet over here. Oh, the pipes underground are damaged. We're not fixing those pipes because nobody's living here, or it's not important enough for us to fix that. So, it's a challenge. But then, like here in this community, there are the projects. Forget the name of these particular projects, but in that area off of Campus Stella, they say, look, we're going to build this aquatic center. They built this brand new aquatic center, beautiful pool, Olympic style swimming facility, etc. in the projects. And you know what they started to do? They started spray painting the little yellow line on each different project, which means we about to knock this down. They didn't put that aquatic center for those black people who lived in the projects. They put the aquatic center there because they know that they're about to revamp and re-gentrify or gentrify that community and bring in high-end white folks.
Well, don't y'all pee in the pool a lot, Maynard? I read that, bro. You just said it was by the projects. Don't y'all pee in the pool a lot?
Let's get to the cactus of the week, ladies and gentlemen. This is where somebody says something stupid and they got to choke on their words. Maynard, who are you giving the cactus to, my man?
Since we didn't get a chance to talk about it in show, and I know you wanted to get to it, I'm going to bring it up. I'm switch hitting on this right now. Terry Crews. Terry Crews, my dude, I'm going to need you to step up and let me just go ahead and administer this cactus to your throat. My dude, you made a comment the other day on Twitter, and you said something to the effect of black, the dismantling of white supremacy without white people participating will only lead to black supremacy, and therefore ultimately, and I'm paraphrasing, ultimately black people will be, if we defeat white supremacy without white people participating, will only create black supremacy, and therefore we will be subjugating the same problems that we're enduring against white people. Julius, what other, whatever roles he's always played. It's a funny thing with Terry Crews. He is an interesting enough person. I loved him as the father on Everybody Hates Chris. He's been in a couple other films, but he also does a little bit of cooning and buffooning. Ain't too many movies I've ever seen him in where he ain't doing a whole bunch of dancing and shucking and jiving, stepping and fetching. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but this is some step and fetch it, Amos and Andy, Steven from Django, Uncle Tom coonness. My dude, what we're trying to do is dismantle white supremacy. And the idea that dismantling white supremacy without white people will lead to black supremacy. First of all, nothing could be further from the truth. You're not going to dismantle white supremacy without white people in America anyway. White people are controlling all of this. So if every black person went out in the street tomorrow with 2 guns, we'd still be outgunned by several million. If every black person went out and just voted tomorrow, all white people could vote for whoever they chose and they could defeat us. So the idea that we're going to somehow create this black supremacy thing and be able to treat white people in a horrible fashion and all this foolishness, that's just false. What we need you to do is lend your voice to the movement, to say, not that we're interested in creating some black supremacy, we're looking in creating black equality. We're looking in creating equality for all people. I don't want to be more than the Asian man, or more than the Hispanic man, or more than the gay man, or more than the white man. I want to be equal with all men. This is the land where all men are created equal. So, Terry, I'm going to equally give you some of this cactus. You're welcome to dine on our finest cactus.
Is the gay man a race?
Whichever. So, man, leave gay men alone.
Shoot! Oh my gosh. Hey, man, Terry Crews from Flint, man. Give it up for Terry Crews.
Yeah, he a Flintstone. Come on, man.
I ain't mad at Terry Crews, but I'm mad at Terry Crews. Terry Crews, you know what? Some people just need to not say anything.
Right, you smile. First of all, Terry Crews, you smile too damn much to be out here talking about politics.
Ain't wrong with, smiling.
He smiled too damn much.
Man to show his teeth. Yeah. But at the same time,
I want to show your teeth. Now I'm gonna be brief, be true to the game.
Nah, just be easy, Terry Crews. Sometimes Lil Wayne, just quiet time. You on quiet time. Man, I ain't mad at you, Lil Wayne, and I understand a white police officer saved your life, and I get it, and I understand, but sometimes the comments are better to yourself.
But then you're going against what you said, Spud. You said it's a game of clicks and views, bro. Like, at the end of the day...
Yeah, but I don't think that's a Lil Wayne thing. I don't think Lil Wayne is out for it for the clicks and views. I just think that Lil Wayne is ignorant to the social media and social injustice and all the other thing. He's on his own world. And he just gets caught up, and unfortunately, it just kind of backfires on him every single time. And you know what? Everybody ain't about the movement, and that's okay. If you ain't for the movement, that is fine. But to Maynard's point, if you're not for the movement, then leave your non-movement ass to the side and let the movement people do the movement work. Don't be in the movement talking about, I'm here with the movement, but I think that we all should be invited. No, nigga, it's movement time. Breakfast right? We don't need your it's all right. It's Black Panther time. All right. If it's Black Panther time, You don't want to be, you know, what's the song? Justice for the pig. That's the only part I know. That's the only part. The chant, the Black Panther chant. Anyway,
Some other people, hold on. Let me give some just honorary cactus mentions real quick. I'm sorry, I hate to do this. Roger Goodell, thank you for finally coming over and saying that you missed out the idea that black players were right. Shut up. We were right all along. Drew Brees, don't apologize now, my dude. You told us who you were the first time. You meant what you said. At least have the courage to say, I said what I said, and stick with it. You don't think that black people, you think that they disrespecting the flag? Fine, that's your business. Keep it up. Don't try to change your situation up now. You in New Orleans, dude. You messed around and you said something wrong, and that's on you.
Drew Brees, go get in that beignet line and call it a day. Listen, this is my point, and I'm wrapping up because we got to go. Listen, this is the point about where the marketing scheme comes into play. And this is no diss to the NFL, or this is no diss to, Drew Brees, but all of a sudden Roger Goodell is on his Twitter talking about Black Lives Matter. If that's the case, then why ain't nobody picking up the phone calling Colin Kaepernick saying, look, we understand that we were wrong, let's have a conversation or anything of that nature. Are you guys going to put more, black people in, in executive positions in the NFL? Are those things going to happen? I understand, are you just saying it from Black Lives Matter, but we still run this. I mean, that doesn't do anything. If you think that Black Lives Matter, then mean it. Don't just say it. Stand up for it. Thank you guys so very much for tuning into this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. We truly appreciate it. We need a couple of things from you. One, share this episode on your Facebook page right now. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, just hit your share button, put it on your page. We're trying to reach as many people as possible. Two, go to YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the thumbs up button. Go bing! Hit the thumbs up for this episode and previous episodes as well. You can catch us on SoundCloud and follow us at soundcloud.com/3blackguys with the mic. If you listen to us on iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever you get your podcast, it is extremely important for you to rate and review our podcast. That's how we continue to get higher rankings in iTunes and on SoundCloud, and this is how we get more exposure. So, if you can do us a favor, Timothy Williams and everybody who tuned in today, I won't call you out because I don't have my phone in front of me. Share this episode. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our SoundCloud channel. Rate and review us on iTunes. Until next week, stay safe out there. Wear a mask because I don't know what. COVID is just over now. Ain't nobody dealing with
Wakanda forever.
Yes, that too.
Wakanda forever.
All right, so before Lamont beats me up because we're 2 minutes over, y'all have a fantastic week, and we'll do it again next week. Monday at 7 p.m. Holla back.
Oh, man.